Dictators often dig their own graves through a series of strategic errors, miscalculations, and inherent flaws in authoritarian regimes. These fatal flaws, manifesting in various forms, ultimately lead to their downfall. Analyzing historical examples reveals a consistent pattern of self-destructive behavior that undermines the stability and longevity of dictatorial rule. One of the most fundamental errors dictators make is the centralization of power. By consolidating control to maintain their grip on the state, dictators marginalize competent advisors and elevate sycophants. This consolidation results in poor decision-making and a lack of critical feedback as those in power become increasingly insulated from reality. The absence of dissenting voices creates an echo chamber where flawed policies and strategies go unchallenged, leading to disastrous outcomes. For instance, Adolf Hitler's absolute control over Nazi Germany left no room for opposing opinions, culminating in strategic military blunders that hastened his regime's downfall. Hitler's obsession with expansion and the aggressive militarization that followed led directly to World War II, which ultimately brought about Germany's defeat and his demise. Another common trait among dictators is the relentless suppression of dissent. While initially effective in silencing opposition, such suppression builds widespread resentment over time. The accumulation of anger and frustration can eventually culminate in mass protests, revolts, or coup attempts. Nicolae Ceaușescu of Romania exemplifies this pattern. His brutal repression of protests in 1989 led to a violent revolution, ending his rule and his life. The regime's inability to tolerate dissent not only isolated it from the populace, but also galvanized opposition movements that became too powerful to control. Economic mismanagement is another significant factor that contributes to the downfall of dictatorships. Many dictators prioritize short-term gains or personal enrichment over sustainable economic policies, leading to severe economic hardships for their citizens. This economic mismanagement erodes public support and fuels opposition movements. Ceaușescu's policies, for instance, led to severe economic hardships in Romania, exacerbating public discontent and paving the way for his overthrow. Similarly, widespread corruption within authoritarian regimes erodes their legitimacy. As the public becomes more aware of the extent of corruption, their trust in the government diminishes, leading to increased unrest and opposition. Human rights violations are a hallmark of dictatorial regimes, and these abuses often attract international condemnation and isolation. Systematic abuse of human rights galvanizes internal resistance movements and tarnishes the regime's image both domestically and internationally. Joseph Stalin's reign in the Soviet Union is a prime example. His mass repressions and famines led to immense suffering and loss of life, leaving a legacy of distrust and fear. Stalin's paranoia led him to conduct purges to eliminate perceived threats within his own ranks, decimating experienced leadership and creating instability within the regime. This internal instability weakened the Soviet state, contributing to its eventual decline. Engaging in aggressive militarization or external conflicts is another strategy that often backfires on dictators. Such actions can overextend resources and lead to devastating losses, weakening the regime's standing both at home and abroad. Hitler's aggressive expansionist policies and the subsequent militarization of Germany led to catastrophic losses in World War II, culminating in his downfall. Ignoring the basic needs of the populace, such as healthcare, education, and infrastructure, leads to widespread dissatisfaction and unrest. Dictators who fail to address social and economic reforms create fertile ground for opposition movements. The failure to meet these societal needs further alienates the regime from its citizens, eroding its support base. In conclusion, dictators often dig their own graves through a combination of centralizing power, suppressing dissent, economic mismanagement, corruption, human rights violations, militarization, and neglecting societal needs. These actions create a volatile mix of internal and external pressures that ultimately lead to their downfall. Historical examples such as Adolf Hitler, Joseph Stalin, and Nicolae Ceaușescu illustrate the self-destructive tendencies of authoritarian regimes. By understanding these patterns, we can better comprehend the inherent instability and eventual collapse of dictatorial rule.
If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, comment, and share. And for more interesting videos, press the bell icon to get notifications for our latest uploads. Thank you for watching.